our own personal time. When it comes to work, and of course it depends on where you work, we are a bit restricted in terms of what we can wear. Suits, ties, skirts, dresses, dress pants, dress shoes, literally everything that I just said is uncomfortable. So thank goodness for Casual Friday, the day of the week when you can wear what you want to a degree. And today we'll talk about where that all came from. It's Wednesday, January 17th, 2024. I'm Steve Hatherly. This is Steve Hatherly Reboot. Let's go. That was A7S with Nirvana. And when I read that on the paper earlier before the show started, I read it as Nirvana with A7S. And I thought, Nirvana has a song called A7S? I've never heard of that before, but I got it the other way around. The song is called Nirvana, and it's an instantly catchy dance pop track that bears all the hallmarks of another chart topper for the Swedish singer, composer, and producer. He said this. He said, I want people to think of what Nirvana is for them. Paradise. Perhaps it's a person or a place or a thing. The lyric and the vibe of the song is melancholic. It can work when you're sad or happy. There doesn't have to be a special setting for putting it on and listening to it, whether you're having a bad day and want to find some comfort, or if you're having the time of your life partying with your friends. I think Nirvana has two sides. Sounds like he wants us to listen to this song all day, every day. Very dancey tune to get us going today. I am live in the studio from Busan on this Wednesday afternoon. Welcome to the show, everyone. You're tuned in on BEFM 90.5 in Busan and 103.3 FM in the Gijang, Jongwon, and Noksan areas. In Seoul on TBS CFM 101.3 and in Gwangju on GFM 98.7. I'm your host, Steve Hatherly, and I thank you very much for being with me today. I'll apologize right now for sounding like a frog this afternoon. I've got a little tiny bit of a head cold, and it just makes me sound super nasally. And I hope that my throat, my voice, will hold up through the 2 hours of the show today. But if not, I'll apologize in advance. I had a chat with Na PD before the show today. He said, "Hi, Steve." I said, "Hello." He said, I listened to your morning show today to check your voice. I said, okay. He said, it was bad. I said, thanks. Really know how to build up a guy's confidence. He was being helpful, of course, and I know, I'm aware of it. And I've got my hot tea to my left. I've got a bottle of water as well, so I'll try to stay fully hydrated, of course. But it is, isn't it? It's cold season. It's flu season. So take care of yourselves. Eat lots of vitamin C. Oh, by the way, what's the name? Chun Hae-hyang, do you know what I'm talking about? Napidi, those Jeju oranges, the big ones. Oh my goodness. We got a delivery to the house today, and someone sent a gift to my wife. These are the oranges that, I don't know if it's an orange or I guess it's an orange. They're from Jeju Island, and I think it might be the greatest orange I've ever had in my life. They are seedless, so you don't have to deal with any seeds when you're eating them. And now is the perfect time. Oh my goodness, it was incredible. I immediately called my wife and said, what is this? All right, in Korean you say, when something's really, really good. Fantastic. I would recommend going to the mart and picking up some of these things right now, because it is wintertime, right? It's wintertime when these oranges taste their best. I don't know the science behind it, but I think it has something to do with the cold temperatures and then the sugars in the oranges or something like that. Anyway, yeah, when the weather's just a little bit warm, they don't taste so great. But when the weather gets really cold, unbelievable, absolutely amazing. So please go buy some Chun Hae-hyang at the mart this afternoon if you have some free time. Really, really delicious. All right, let's talk about what's on the show this afternoon, shall we? Well, first, let's talk about our live stream. You can go over to youtube.com and search BEFM or Busan영어방송 in Korean. You can watch our live stream there until the songs start to play. When they do, they will fade out. And when they fade out, you'll have to open up your BEFM app, or, of course, you can listen to the music through FM radio as well. That's the workaround for that particular problem. We apologize. It's not convenient, and we appreciate your patience and your understanding. When the songs finish playing through FM radio or through your app, then you can start watching the YouTube live stream once again. All right, coming up on the show in the first hour today, we'll start with Hot Off the Press, where you'll check out some of the newest, hottest tracks from the world of music. I'll give you some information about the artist and about the songs as well. After that, it's Wednesday afternoon, and just around 2:30, Jimmy will be in the studio to introduce some various neighborhoods from the city of Busan. All around Busan begins, like I said, just around 2:30 or so. Maybe 15 minutes time, we'll say hello to Jimmy. He'll stay with me for what remains of the first hour. Then in hour number 2, for our fun fact of the day. I've never thought about this before. We know it, right? Casual Friday. I don't know if it's still really a thing or not. And the reason I don't really know if it's a thing is because in the radio industry, you kind of have the freedom to wear what you want to a degree, of course. So every day is kind of Casual Friday. And that's not just for the announcers. That's for the writers. That's for the producers. That seems to be the way for the management as well. And that's been my experience at all of the stations that I've worked at in Korea. So it's a pretty laid-back work environment. Depends on where you work, though, right? Some places have uniform policies where you have to wear your uniform to work every day. Other places have a more formal setting for the office. So it totally does depend on where you work. But still, we all know about Casual Friday. So the question is, where did it come from? Have you ever thought about that before? I didn't until last night. So I found the answer. There's a couple of different answers, as a matter of fact, but it goes back a pretty long way, and it goes to Hawaii, as a matter of fact. So we'll talk about the invention of Casual Friday and how it all came to be for our fun fact of the day. After that, we'll move on to Inside Korea. I've got 3 stories to share with you this afternoon. First, we're talking about, and this is where the idea for talking about Casual Friday for our fun fact of the day came from. This is a really, really good idea. Job seekers in Seoul, people looking for a job, can save money on a suit with a city-funded rental service. So we all need a suit or a dress or whatever, some formal clothing when we go for a job interview, right? But this place in Seoul, it allows people to take the suits or take the formal clothing for just a few days and then return it. It's a really, really, really good idea. And the reason they do this is because it's a service that's provided by the government. If you have a job interview, think about it. If you have a job interview and you have to go buy a suit for that one interview and you wear it to the interview and then that's kind of it. If you work in a company that doesn't require you to wear a suit, then you're not going to wear that suit again, or you're not going to wear that dress or that skirt or those business pants again for a very, very, very long time. So it's kind of a waste of money for a lot of young people. So what this place does is they allow you to take it for a few days at a time, and you can do this multiple times per year as well, which is another great idea because oftentimes people will have more than one job interview. We'll talk about that as our first story of the day in Inside Korea. After that, we'll move on to our second one. This is a bit of a controversy. The Safety Ministry's plan to add a female image to emergency exit signs has caused a bit of a stir. Wherever you are right now, maybe you can see one. Look at a door. If you're in a public building and you can see a door, you're probably going to see one of these signs. Above the door, you'll see the green sign with the shape of the white man, and the sign says exit. You know what I'm talking about, right? Well, the Safety Ministry, they want to add a female image, but this is causing some controversy, and we'll talk about what that controversy is when we get to the story. After that, as our third and final story, BTS and local governments have clashed over boy band-themed tourist sites. The label or the management of BTS isn't really happy about the fact that they were using BTS to kind of encourage tourism in their own spots. One spot was here in Busan, but not just Busan. Other parts of the country as well. Gangneung, I remember from the story, is another spot. And I kind of get both sides. It makes sense that those areas would want to use BTS's name to try to promote more tourism and get more people to come to their area. From the label or from the management's point of view, well, you're taking advantage of the name and of the reputation and of the image of BTS, and they didn't see that as very fair. So I'll tell you what's going on with that particular story when we get to our third one in Inside Korea. Three interesting stories coming up for Inside Korea today. After that, we'll move on to Perfect Playlist, where we've got the best songs for every situation, and I will check your messages throughout the program as well. All right, question of the day today. What is your company's dress code? Tell me about your office. When you go to work, what is it that you have to wear or perhaps don't have to wear? Do you have a casual Friday at your office or do you not? And also, what would you like to change about your office dress code? Would you like it to be more casual or perhaps you'd like to be a little bit more formal? Sometimes if people get too casual, it can make it a little uncomfortable for people, right? If you take it too far. Like if you come to work in a tank top, well, I think that's a little extreme, don't you? So there does have to be at least some sort of rule in place. So tell me about your workplace and about the dress code there today. 회사의 복장 규정은 무엇이고 어떻게 바꾸고 싶으신가요? Text me, #9050 for 101. Add us on Kakao Talk for free and send messages for free by searching BEFM or 부산영어방송 in Korean. Same search on your smartphone. You can download the app from any of the app stores. You can listen to our programs there and leave us a comment after logging in. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll check out today's Hot Off the Press. Here is the remix version, Rhett Madison, Pin Up Daddy.
Mama used to paint my cheeks rosy red. Sees my hair as high as the mountains for the county
That was Rhett Madison with the remix version of Pin Up Daddy, and now it's time for today's Hot Off the Press, where from Monday to Friday, we bring you two of the newest, hottest tracks from the world of music. A lot of songs get released every single week, and we choose a couple each day that we hope that you'll enjoy. Let's start today with Brendan Abernathy and Annie O'Malley. This one is called Die Slower. The opening lines of the song suggest that the narrator uses coping mechanisms to maintain a sense of control over their emotions and the situations that they find themselves in. They have an inclination to take responsibility for everything, even if it may not be entirely their fault. After that, we'll hear Declan J. Donovan's new track. This is called Hungry Heart. Singer and songwriter Declan started playing the guitar when he was just 9 years old, and he began writing his own songs shortly after. In 2016, he released his first EP that was called Fables, and that gained him lots and lots of attention. Declan's music is a mix of folk and pop and soul with lyrics that are often thoughtful and poetic. His music has been compared to the likes of Ed Sheeran and Sam Smith, but with an original twist, and you can be the judge of that. All right, here we go with our two tracks for Hot Off the Press today. Brendan Abernathy and Annie O'Malley, Die Slower, and then Declan J. Donovan, Hungry Heart. Declan J. Donovan, Hungry Heart, and before that, Brendan Abernathy and Annie O'Malley with Die Slower. Those were our two tracks for Hot Off the Press today. My question for you this afternoon, what is your company's dress code? Maybe your company doesn't even have a dress code, but if it does, tell me what it is and what you would like to change about it. 회사의 복장 규정은 무엇이고 어떻게 바꾸고 싶으신가요? I remember back in 2001, 2002, I used to teach at a hagwon, at an institute in Mapo, the Mapo area of Seoul. And I was friends with all of the teachers, and we had a really good relationship. And we had a good relationship with the management as well. And so we pushed for Casual Friday, right? We said, hey, listen, we have to dress pretty formally for the school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. How about Casual Friday? And the manager said, you know what? Okay. Let's do it. And we were like, oh, yeah, awesome, Casual Friday. And I forget if that was the first Friday or the second Friday or the third Friday. But one of my coworkers, he was very eccentric with his personality and with his fashion as well. So one of the Casual Fridays, this guy comes to work wearing normal pants and a fishnet shirt with nothing underneath it, just a fishnet shirt. And I thought, are you going to the club? Like, what are you doing? And I said to my other coworker, well, that's it for Casual Friday. And they did. They took it away from us. So we only had it for like a month. I forget exactly how long, but it wasn't very long. And we all blamed him. But we all thought it was hilarious that this guy thought it was okay to come to work. And it doesn't matter what your job is. It makes no difference. Well, I suppose that kind of clothing would be appropriate for certain types of work, but not when you're a school teacher. Anyway, we all thought that was pretty funny. Tell me about your company's dress code. What would you like to change about it? Pounder Sharp 9050. That will cost you 100 won. Add us on Kakao Talk for free and send messages for free by searching BEFM or Busan영어방송 in Korean. Same search on your smartphone. You can download the app from any of the app stores, and you can leave us a comment after logging in. Wednesday afternoon, and Jimmy's here. How you doing, Jimmy?
Hello. This is Jimmy in the building. I'm doing great as always.
Good to see you. How do you feel about dress codes at the workplace? Do you think they're necessary or not necessary?
It depends on like what kind of a business that it matters, just like what you said. I mean, if that guy was a club DJ,
yes,
it would be okay for him to just be half naked or anything like that. But then, yeah.
And he was, essentially.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, that's what a fishnet shirt is.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but to a private institute?
Yeah, right.
No.
What about things like wearing a shirt and a tie or, for other people, formal business wear, uncomfortable business wear at the office?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's really, really appropriate for you to just be like, wearing a formal suit. But then I guess China neck shirts would be okay, right? Or, I mean, I would be okay with anything that unless if it's not open-toe shoes.
Open-toe shoes?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Or like ripped off pants. If it's too much like ripped off, then
or short shorts.
Yeah, or short shorts.
Not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, all good examples. It's true though, isn't it? I kind of understand both sides because everybody knows when you dress up really formally, you do feel different.
Right.
It's true. I don't know what it is about human psychology, but when you put on some formal business wear, you really do feel and behave a little bit differently. So I kind of get it for some companies.
True that. I mean, if you're working for sales, I guess you definitely have to suit up. But then if you're just working in the back of the office, like a marketing team or anything, then if coworkers are okay with it, if colleagues are okay with it, then you guys can just have like a certain limits.
Yeah, good point. If you never have to deal with customers,
right,
or if you're not representing the company to the public, then it may not be so necessary.
Right.
Good to see you, Jimmy. It's time for All Around Busan. You're here to introduce one of the various neighborhoods from the city. So where are we going today?
Today, I'm going to delve into the charming neighborhood of Sajikdong in Dongdaegu area.
Sajikdong
Yes.
in Dongdaegu.
Yeah, so when you think about Sajikdong, probably whenever you get to ask this question to the citizens who lives in Busan, they'll probably gonna say baseball or basketball.
That's where the stadium is.
Right.
Okay.
That's where the baseball stadium and Sajik Indoor Gymnasium is located at.
Is it kind of like, I haven't been there yet to visit the area, but is it kind of like the Chamshil area of Seoul?
Oh yeah, that's a good example.
Okay.
Right.
So you have the baseball stadium there, you have another indoor stadium like right next to it. So it's kind of like an athletics complex.
Right. And then right next to it there is a huge market. Yeah.
I still haven't been to a baseball game. I'm going to have to wait until the next time around.
I know. I mean, the new season will be starting this March.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you have some time, we could go together.
Question. Have you been to a baseball game in Busan and in Seoul or another part of the country?
Of course.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if you don't know, people talk about this a lot. Going to a game in Busan is a different experience than going to a game in any other part of the country. What is the difference?
I was going to tell you this, but then, well, cheering culture is definitely a one of a kind. And as you know, you may notice people in Busan, they're more like hyper compared to any other people who lives in like Seoul or Jeju.
Okay.
Hyper meant like they're really, really into watching these sports games.
Okay.
And another point, they have their own cheering culture. When the seventh inning starts, they all decorate themselves with a plastic bag.
The orange
Yeah,
bag.
the orange one.
Yeah.
And they start to like cheering like crazy with the cheerleaders too.
Yeah, I've heard it's a really special experience to go to a baseball game in Busan.
It is.
All right, and the stadium is located in Sajikdong. So I guess that's maybe, or maybe it's not, but the main kind of landmark of this neighborhood.
Right. And what I like about this place is that the gymnasiums and this baseball stadiums are actually surrounded by the apartment complexes.
Oh, really?
So the funny thing is, I mean, it is illegal, but then there's no way that you can stop from this. Some teenagers and some neighbors actually watch the game from the rooftop. Or if you live on the upper floors, you can just naturally see the inside of the stadium too. So
Oh, that's perfect. I bet those apartments are more expensive.
For sure.
Because of that, right? You get a perfect seat to watch the baseball game.
Right.
Oh, so the apartment complexes, they are that close to the stadium?
it is. It is. Of course, I mean, it's definitely better for you to actually buy the ticket and then see the game inside of the
Sure.
stadium. But then you can like actually see it because that's how the apartments were located and
Okay.
designed.
All right, so what else is around this area? Of course, I've heard that the baseball stadium's there, but I haven't really heard anything else.
Right. Well, this particular Dongdaegu district itself, it's really, really well known for educational institutes as well.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. They have a lot of schools surrounded by this area, like Sajikdong and Dongdaegu itself. So many people, like there are a lot of private institutions where students can go study.
I guess that's the case for most residential neighborhoods,
Right.
Is that when you have a lot of apartment complexes there, then of course you're going to have a lot of schools there. And if you have a lot of schools there, then you're going to have a lot of institutes there
For real.
as well.
Yes.
What's unique is that there's a baseball stadium or a sports complex in the middle of it all.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the 2024 KBO baseball season runs from March to October. So in particular, Busan has one of this kind of fan base unlike any other region. So for those of you, even if you're an international traveler, you could, if you're visiting to Busan during this period of the time, you can actually book a ticket and then you can actually watch the baseball game too.
It's one of the first things I heard about after I moved to Korea.
See?
Yeah, not move to Busan, move to Korea 20 years ago.
Right.
Talking about baseball with coworkers, and I went to a few games in Chamcho, and then I heard, oh yeah, in Busan it's different.
It is.
You gotta go to a game in Busan. It's just a different type of vibe, a different type of energy.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, we're talking about Sajikdong in Dongdaegu today with Jimmy, and we'll learn more about this neighborhood when we come back. Here is Rita Ora and Fatboy Slim praising you.
I've been gone for a minute.
Rita Ora and Fatboy Slim praising you. Today with Jimmy in All Around Busan, we're learning about Dongdaegu Sajikdong. And before the break, we learned about the most famous landmark in the area, the baseball stadium. But what else is the area known for?
Oh, well, as you know, Busan is definitely well known for filming location spots, right? Such as, local dramas to the OTT services and even Hollywood movies too.
Oh, Hollywood movies
Yeah,
too?
from that Black Panther. Yeah,
Black Panther was filmed in this area?
in Sajikdong.
Oh,
yeah.
really? What scene from Black Panther?
I don't clearly remember though, but then I guess it was just a short scene. But then it was actually filmed not in the stadium, but then near the baseball stadium.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because typically, I guess Hollywood movies, if they're gonna shoot, then they shoot in Seoul.
Right.
Typically.
Yeah.
So that's cool that the film came down to Busan to film some stuff.
Definitely. So therefore, as a result, Sajikdong actually has gained fame not only for its baseball and delicious restaurants, but also as a popular filming locations for both domestic and international films.
I mean, that's cool because everybody wants to know, like, oh, where was that filmed? And where
Right.
was that filmed? You know, I've always said that about Korea. People are lucky in Korea because in Canada and the United States, you can't really tell where a movie was filmed.
Right.
There's no real hints or clues unless, it's the Grand Canyon or something
True.
like that. But in Korea, you can watch a movie and go, oh, yeah, I've been to that neighborhood
Right.
before, which is a really kind of cool thing. We don't really have that in Canada unless you're from Vancouver. Vancouver is a big place for movies to be filmed and TV shows as well.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. So you've got this part of but this isn't necessarily a destination, or is it? Is it a tourist thing? Like, are there spots where you can go there in Sajikdong, and they say, "Oh, this is where the Black Panther film was filmed," or "This is where this scene from this movie was filmed"?
There are actually spots and streets, and then also some of the restaurants. But then I don't want to, I cannot name out the restaurant itself. But then there are some particular restaurants which was filmed for the filming spots.
So, yeah, you go into the restaurants, and there's a lot of restaurants in Korea. It's the same in any country in the world, I guess. When
Right.
celebrities have been there, they'll take their picture, and they'll put it up on the wall, and they have the celebrity sign, a piece of paper or whatever. Yeah.
Even the owners actually make the special banner out of it, and they attach it on the wall.
Oh, yes, exactly.
And use that as an advertisement.
On the wall, or sometimes outside the restaurant,
right.
too, right? You see that a lot.
Right.
Okay, do you visit this area of the city a lot?
Oh, yeah. I mean, not that much. But then I recently attended to a KBL basketball game because they didn't actually have the team in Busan for basketball. But then starting from this season, they actually have the home team in Sajik Indoor Gymnasium in Sajik.
Yeah,
So.
that was big news last year, right?
Right.
That the basketball team was coming back, right?
Coming back,
because
actually.
they had been here before.
Right.
So what's it like? I've never been to a Well, that's not true. The only basketball game I went to in Korea was in Chamsil, and when it was when the American team, the Dream Team,
Right.
was visiting before the World Basketball Championships, which were taking place in Japan in that year. So they came to Korea first as kind of a couple of practice games.
Oh, like a special event or practice game?
Are you a basketball fan?
Yeah.
Did you go see them when they were here?
No.
So I got to see LeBron James and Dwayne Wade.
What?
And Carmelo Anthony was on the
Melo.
team at the time. The dream team.
Right, right.
It was all of them, and it was phenomenal.
Wow.
My friend saw LeBron in a convenience store.
And he still plays in the league.
Yeah, and this was a very long time ago. But it was hilarious because he said when he saw him in the convenience store, you ever watch like a full-grown adult with like a little miniature like dollhouse?
No, yeah, I know what you mean.
He said the convenience store looked like a dollhouse because LeBron
So
is so
tall.
huge that it was just kind of amusing, like bending down
Right.
to look at the stuff on the top shelf. That was a really special experience, as a matter of fact.
Interesting.
What's it like to go to a game here in Busan?
Well, they just brought back the team, and then now Busan actually has the Busan-based team here in Busan. So many people were all like, excited about it. And then right now, they don't really have much of that events right now because they just brought the team back. And then I guess the organization is slowly restarting those kind of events. But then it was really good to, see the game, in Busan and cheer for the Busan-based team.
So the team is back, but they're still trying to build up the fan base
Right.
again? I
Yeah.
see. Well, I mean, I guess that's going to take some time, but in the meantime, the good news is that it wouldn't be that difficult to get some good tickets, I guess.
Yeah. That's why I actually went there, and then I sat on the front row. So maybe later on, if they boom up, and then later on, the ticket cost will go up, and then many
Sure.
fans gonna purchase the ticket, so it's gonna be tougher.
How much did you pay for a ticket, if I may ask?
Oh yeah, it's only 40,000 won.
For courtside seats?
Yeah, courtside seats.
Oh, that's really
Yeah,
affordable
nice,
then.
right?
Yeah. Okay, let's talk food, shall we?
Oh yeah, here, I mean, this place seems to have a lot of, great restaurants, but then especially it's where all these sports gymnasiums and, baseball stadium is located in.
Food cart?
Food cart and also fried chicken is one of a kind.
Fried chicken restaurants located within the stadiums, or?
Yeah, they also do have inside of that stadium and then also nearby. So many people, whenever they go see the game, they always bring those fried chicken bags.
Yeah.
And they go in and then, watch the game with the soda or, beer.
It's amazing. I remember that totally blew my mind. There were a few moments of my time in Korea where my mind was totally blown, and I realized that Koreans are geniuses. The first moment that stood out to me was when I saw someone at a meat restaurant cutting the food with scissors. I thought, right? It just totally makes sense. We don't do that in Canada or America. It totally makes sense. That was the first time. And then another time was when, we went to the baseball stadium and we just saw people eating chicken and drinking beer, eating fried chicken.
Yeah.
Then I saw another stadium where you can sit down and have a full barbecue in your seats while you watch the game.
I know.
It's just, Korean people really, 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 really know how to enjoy themselves. It's true, right?
For sure.
More so than Canadians, I think.
And since we are talking about chicken, are you a fan of fried chicken or marinated chicken?
Just fried.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't like the
Yangnyeom chicken.
No, I don't need that.
Too sweet?
It's just I like to control my distribution of sauce on my chicken. I'm a dipper. I don't want it over the whole thing.
All right.
Then I've lost control of my chicken sauce.
And I mean, you got the point because also it gets less crisp.
Yes.
Right?
Gets a little soggy after a short period of time, right?
For sure.
Okay. Chicken. So all types of chicken then. Chicken feet, everything?
Yeah, they also have some chicken feet, 닭발. So many Koreans are in love with eating 닭발. And also a spicy chicken stew, 닭도리탕. So yeah, anything with chicken-based is really, really huge near this neighborhood.
Perfect.
Of course, they've got other menus, but, it's kind of specialized in this area because of the sports games.
Are you a fan of chicken feet, by the way?
Chicken feet? Not really.
My wife really loves chicken feet.
Yeah.
And she loves that I don't. Because it means when she orders
gets
it's
everything.
all for her and she doesn't have to share it with me. at
For
all.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that works out quite well, as a matter of fact. Yeah. Very good. All right. So how would you describe, from all of the things that we learned about Sajikdong today, how would you describe this neighborhood to us?
Yeah, please visit Sajikdong. It's a fantastic neighborhood with great options of sports events and delicious food. And then I highly would like to recommend you guys to go watch the live game. Yeah, at least once in your lifetime.
And I'm guessing that the parking lots at the stadium have all kinds of food carts there, and you can sit out. They have plastic tables and chairs.
For sure.
Yeah. Go for that experience. Don't go there expecting a 5-star meal.
Oh, no, not at all.
No, and you shouldn't want that there anyway. You're going to go there. You want to sit down on some plastic chairs, eat some fried chicken with your hands.
Yeah.
No plastic gloves.
Finger snacks.
Absolutely. And just enjoy that kind of atmosphere for the baseball game.
For sure.
Awesome. Jimmy, thank you so much. Always fun when you come to the studio on a Wednesday afternoon. And enjoy your week, my friend. We'll see you again next time.
All right. See you next week.
Bye, Jimmy.
Bye.
Stay with us for hour number 2. I'll finish the first today with Two Colors, Love Fool.
BEFM 부산 영어방송.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전 기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
Hi everyone, I'm Catherine from Morning Wave in Busan. Do you turn into a hideous monster every time you're behind the wheel? Feeling a little guilty? Well, Busan drivers ranked the lowest in a national survey for driving behavior. But if we practice good driving etiquette, we can all become gentler beings. Here are two things to keep in mind. First up, when you're changing lanes, make sure to use your blinker. And second, although I do love getting text messages from all of you, don't text and drive. That's a no-no. Good driving etiquette equals safety for all. This campaign is brought to you by Morning Wave in Busan on BEFM. Oh, by the way, tune in to Morning Wave in Busan to get real-time traffic updates. You know your morning commute's better with me, Kat.
보이스피싱 전화 올 땐 전화 끊고 확인하기. 택배 주소 오류 사기, 인터넷 주소 클릭한대.
늘 의심하고 꼭 전화 끊고 또 확인하고
보이스피싱에 눈을 뜨며
예방책이 보입니다.
공익광고협의회.
The time is now 3 o'clock.
You're listening to Steve Hatherly Reboot on BEFM 90.5. That was Bruno Mars with Finesse, and that new jack swing sound influenced the song, and it finds Bruno Mars unleashing his inner house party MC. The song is one of the most upbeat tracks on 24 Karat Magic on that album. That came out back in 2016. 2016 was 8 years ago. Unbelievable, when Bruno Mars's album came out. He said, anytime you see us on tour or on TV, I want to be moving. I was very conscious on this album of the bounce. Oh, interesting. I never heard about that before. I always want to keep moving, huh? Well, the song's drum pattern takes direct inspiration from the intro to Belle Biv DeVoe's 1990 R&B hit Poison. Oh, I remember that song. Belle Biv DeVoe, they were super good back at the time. And yeah, if you listen to that Bruno Mars song, it's almost like a complete copy of it. That little part of it, I mean. Anyway, that one got us into the second hour of Steve Hatherly Reboot on this Wednesday afternoon. Thank you very much for staying with me for it. You're tuned into the show on BEFM 90.5 in Busan, 103.3 FM in the Gijang, Jongguan, and Noksan areas. In Seoul on TBS EFM 101.3. And in Gwangju on GFN 98.7. Again, thank you kindly for staying with me for hour number 2. I said it in the first hour. I'll say it again at the beginning of the second hour. I'm hoping and praying and knock on wood that my voice will hold up in hour number 2 as well. But just in case it doesn't, I'll apologize in advance. If you're just joining us now, suffering from a little tiny bit of a cold today. All right, speaking of the second hour, let's get into it. Fun fact of the day, the invention of Casual Friday. I never thought about it until last night. Where did it all come from? Why did it start? I agree that some companies can use this quite comfortably. I think that other companies maybe not so much. For example, you don't want your airline that you're flying with to have Casual Friday, right? You don't want the flight attendants or even the ground crew to be in shorts and a t-shirt. You don't want that, right? And maybe it doesn't matter. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what somebody wears. It has nothing to do with their job and their ability to do their job. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't feel right. You go to the hospital, for example. You expect your doctor to be wearing those green things. What are those called? Scrubs? I forget what they're called. The green pants and the green shirt. Looks quite comfortable, doesn't it? Looks like pajamas. They have to be comfortable throughout the day. And then, of course, they wear their white lab coat. If you went to the doctor, would you feel comfortable if they were wearing a Hawaiian shirt and some flip-flops? Maybe, depending on the context of the situation, that might be okay. If I'm in Tatamagouche, Nova Scotia, and it were a holiday, and the doctor had come into the office specifically for me, okay. But if you go to one of the bigger hospitals in Korea, and all the nurses and all the doctors are dressed like that, not going to feel good about that, are you? See what I mean? It's a funny thing. It's a really funny thing about human beings and our response to something. It's all in our brain, isn't it? Reminds me as well, this isn't related to dress codes or anything like that, but it reminds me of the 1990s when the cola company, the P cola company, Pep Blank, they tried to come out with clear soda, clear cola. Totally failed. Totally 100% failed. Because us humans, in our mind, cola is brown. So therefore, changing the color of a taste that we already knew didn't work at all. Human beings, we are interesting animals, are we not? Anyway, I digress a little bit. What we're going to do for our fun fact of the day is learn about the history and the invention of Casual Friday. Where, oh where, did it all come from? After that, we'll move on to Inside Korea, and I have 3 stories to share with you this afternoon. Story number 1. This is such a good idea. Seoul job seekers are saving money on their suits or their formal business attire with a city-funded rental service. Genius. Whoever came up with this idea is an absolute genius. It's all about saving money on that formal wear. If you're only going to wear a suit or dress clothes for one particular occasion, then there's no real need to spend that money because a suit or a dress or a formal business wear is really, really, really expensive. So I'll tell you exactly what's going on with this city-funded rental service. But again, it's a really, really smart idea. I think they should do this in Busan as well. Maybe they do, but I don't think that's included in this story. After that, we'll move on to our second one. A bit of controversy. The Safety Ministry, they have a plan to add female images to emergency exit signs. And it's causing quite the stir online and off. People aren't happy about this. What I'm talking about, the safety or the safety exits, the emergency exits, you might be able to see one right now. There must be millions of them around the country because every time there's a door in a public building, you can find that green sign located above the door. Hotels too, right? Well, that's the issue here because that image above the door, maybe you can see one right now. That image is of a man, quite clearly, I think, too, right? It's quite obvious that that's the image of a man. So the Safety Ministry, they want to add a female image, but the image itself is part of the big issue here. That'll be story number 2. After that, BTS. Well, if you want to choose to use BTS or their image or their name to promote something of yours locally, like a tourist destination, you will not be able to do that. Local governments have clashed over the boy band themed tourist sites, and management has said, nope. You can't do it. And some places have had to change what they have set up there. So those will be our 3 stories. 3 quite interesting stories, I think, for Inside Korea today. After that, we'll move on to Perfect Playlist. We've got the best songs for every situation, and I will check your messages throughout the second hour as well. All right, question of the day today. This is what I want to know. What is your company's dress code, and what would you like to change about it? Yeah, it's an interesting thing, right? And I too, I agree with having a dress code sometimes. I talked about it just a moment ago, and Jimmy and I talked about it in the first hour. Super casual is not always a good thing. I think, at least having some sort of rules, even if you keep a casual Friday, having some sort of very loose rule in place is a good thing. Or maybe you disagree with me. That's just my opinion. What is your company's dress code? What would you like to change about it? 회사의 복장 규정은 무엇이고 어떻게 바꾸고 싶으신가요? Think about that and then share your thoughts. Pounder sharp 9050. That's on your cell phone for 101. Add us on Kakao Talk for free and send messages for free by searching BEFM or Busan영어방송 in Korean. Same search on your smartphone. You can download the app from any of the app stores. You can listen to our programs there and leave us a comment after logging in. All right, let's move on to our expression for today. This is from, of course, King the Land. And in this particular scene, the romantic couple, the hotel heir and the young woman, they are apologizing to each other because prior, in a previous scene, she was asking him, if you remember, leave the restaurant. Nobody wants you here. I don't want you here. You're making everybody really, really uncomfortable. And then he was 삐졌죠. He was like, whatever. And then he left. So after that happened, now they are apologizing. And he's saying, I'm sorry that I put you in an uncomfortable situation because I am the boss and I was hanging out in front of the employees. And she said, that's okay. And then she apologized as well. And this is what she said.
저도 뾰족하게 말해서 미안해요.
저도 뾰족하게 말해서 미안해요. This is a really good sentence to learn because it's very polite and it's a nice thing when you've made a mistake to apologize to someone, to a stranger or to your romantic partner or to someone working at a shop, any situation where you need to apologize. I think it's good to learn in a foreign language how to say sorry. The challenging thing in Korean language is I feel there's about 200 ways to say sorry, but still, this is one of them. So if you're completely unfamiliar, then you can learn this one today. All right, so let's go through it from the beginning and see what she said. She said, 저도, me too, 뾰족하게. 뾰족하게. All right, my pronunciation probably is not going to be perfect because that's a 쌍비읍, and those ones are always tough for me. Is that okay? 나PD, 뾰족하게. Okay, thank you. 나PD says that's okay. 뾰족하게 말해서. Okay, 뾰족하게 말해서. 말해서 means to speak or to say, and then 뾰족하게 말해서 is the style of speaking. Let me give you an example of what she did before. He said, oh, I just came to the restaurant to see you. And she said, leave. You have to go. You can't stay here. Can you feel that style of speaking? That's 뾰족하게 말해서 in Korean. And in English, we say snapping. It's the same spelling as snapping your fingers. So if you know that word, then it's going to be easy to remember this one. Same spelling, different meaning. If someone snaps at you, or if you snap at someone, it means that you spoke very quickly, very sharply, and without manners. That's what it means to snap at someone. So, in an argument, if you're having an argument with someone and they speak to you in that 뾰족하게 style, then you can say, please don't snap at me. 나PD, if I want to say, please don't snap at me in Korean, would I say, 뾰족하지 마세요? Like that? 뾰족하게 말하지 마세요. 뾰족하게 말하지 마세요. Thank you. It's 나PD off in the corner. You can hear him, though. That's cool. You don't get to hear his voice on the show anymore. 뾰족하게 말하지 마세요. Don't snap at me, please. Or if you want to apologize, 저도, that means me too, 뾰족하게 말해서 미안해요. And 미안해요, just so you know, is apologizing. It means I'm sorry, but this is a casual way of apologizing. This is not the way that you would apologize to the CEO of your company. It's a little confusing if you really don't speak Korean because you'll see yo at the end, so it's 존댓말, right? It's not 반말. 반말 would be 미안해. It's 미안해요, but it's a polite casual combination, polite and casual. So if you're apologizing to your friend or your romantic partner, then you can say 미안해요. But if you're apologizing in a more formal situation, then you're going to want to use a different word, and that's probably 죄송합니다. All right, there you go. Hopefully that helps out your Korean or your English. One more time, she said in English, I'm sorry for snapping at you. And in Korean, 저도 뾰족하게 말해서 미안해요.
저도 뾰족하게 말해서 미안해요.
Yeah, good sentence. Really nice sentence to learn, right? And if you have an argument with your partner and you want to say, I'm sorry, then this is a nice sentence to use when you are apologizing. All right, there you go. Hopefully that helps out your Korean or your English, depending on which one you are studying. That is your expression. Those are your expressions for today. We'll have a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about the history, a little bit about the history of Casual Friday. Here's Christine and the Queens. Staying Alive, Chris version. We're going to get that loaded up right now, and we're ready. Okay, enjoy.
Waiting for this moment to last, praying on the music so fine, born in the way, making it mine. Oh, here I am, praying for this moment to
That was MGMT with Mother Nature, and now it's time for Inside Korea. 3 stories to cover here, so let's dive straight in. Such a genius idea. It's not a new idea, but a story came out in the media recently, so I thought I'd let you know about it. In 2016, the Seoul Metropolitan Government came up with the idea of a suit rental service that aims to alleviate the financial strain on young job seekers by offering free suit rentals for interviews. The service is available to anyone who lives in Seoul, from high school graduates up to age 39. Customers can rent clothes, including ties and belts and shoes, for up to 4 days, and they can do it for up to 10 times a year. Such a great idea, right? And when I use the word rent, it's all free. In a bid to increase accessibility, the city government opened 3 new branches in different parts of the city last year, and they're planning to open another one in the Jongro district this year, and that will total 14 different branches in operation. That's a good idea to have one in Jongro because that district of Seoul is a business district itself. The initiative has proven to be very, very satisfying for young people. 98.6% of users have expressed contentment with the service in a survey conducted by the city government. Being able to rent a suit for free is the biggest advantage, in my opinion. That's a quote from one job applicant who has used the rental service a total of 3 times. Since suits are typically only for interviews and not otherwise worn frequently by young people, the applicant emphasized that it comes as a financial burden to buy one. And it's true. Even cheaper business wear is still expensive, right? The process is very, very simple for customers' convenience. From the moment you walk into the store until the moment you walk out, it takes about 30 minutes. If you're a first-time visitor, you need to provide your ID card to confirm that you are a resident of Seoul. But yeah, you can leave your clothes there, which is another cool thing as well. You can leave your clothes in a locker if you have an interview that day or that afternoon, and then bring it back almost immediately. It's such a cool idea, and it's great to see that it's growing as well. Again, I don't know if they've done this in Busan just yet, but I think it would be a very, very cool idea to try to introduce that here. It's just so expensive, isn't it, to have to buy business wear that you're not really going to wear. All right, moving on to story number 2. This is where the controversy is today. The Ministry of the Interior and Safety's supposed plan to modify existing emergency exit signs to feature a character with long hair, breasts, and a skirt has triggered fierce criticism, with opponents of the change claiming that associating women with such an image is outdated and it's sexist. Controversies began last week after several local news outlets quoted unidentified safety ministry officials saying that the ministry was considering installing new finding signs or wayfinding signs with female silhouettes on emergency exit signs. Currently, emergency exit signs depict a person, right? But like I said in the first hour, and maybe you can see one of these in front of you right now, it's pretty clearly a man. I think we can agree on that. Right? I don't think I'm wrong with saying that. I think that's kind of the image that's represented there. And it's presumed to be a man, and this is in accordance with international standards. Since 1992, Korea has been using the green emergency exit sign that was adopted by the International Organization for Standardization, the ISO, back in 1987. So it's been a long time in Korea, and this is kind of the international decision. This wasn't a decision that was done here in Korea, meaning it wasn't created here in Korea. But the new sign would be used together with the existing one to better represent diversity, as complaints have sometimes arisen that the existing sign symbolizes only men, and that's been an issue in the media. Many internet users said, however, that the existing emergency exit sign represents a person, not specifically a man, and stressed that visual distinctions of women are outdated. A spokesperson for the ruling People Power Party and recently joined former PPP leader representative joined the criticism. They said the plan is a waste of taxpayer money. Now, I don't know how much money it would cost to to add on to these signs. But it seems logistically, this would take a really, really, really long time, right? Because think about all the exit signs that are around the country. Even on one block, you'd probably have hundreds of them, right? They said that the illustration with a woman figure reported by some local media is not a draft plan proposed by the government, noting that new signs will only be chosen after collecting opinions from experts and the public. But anyway, yeah, that's the image that was circulating online, even though they said it wasn't the final choice, but people didn't like it. They didn't like it at all. All right, moving on to our third story. Well, BTS, they are everywhere, but not really anymore because some places that were trying to use them to help promote tourism for their local business or their local area, they are being shut down. Localities that have been seeing an increasing number of tourists thanks to boy band BTS are now on the verge of losing them as the group's agency officially requested they refrain from installing any artist-related works in their cities without permission. A BTS structure, for example, was set up in a beach area in Gangwon-do, and that was famous for being the spot where BTS had their photo shoot for their big album Butter in 2021. That is still there, but it's going to be demolished this week. As a matter of fact, it might be gone. It's Wednesday, so it might be gone as of now. But they wanted to keep it there to help bring tourism because people want to go there. It was the Butter album. They want to take their picture there, right? But the agency sent an official document to the city in November, to Gangwon, to Samcheok, specifically, saying you cannot use the copyrighted work of its artist without their permission. The Samcheok city government, they restored the exact scene of the photo shoot from July of 2021. They even placed parasols and sunbeds shown in the album photos, and they put up a BTS installation, and then the installation immediately brought a surge of tourists, including the fans of BTS, the army. So it works, right? When you put up stuff that says BTS, it actually works. People come. But the agency said, you did not have our permission to do that. Therefore, please stop. The governments, local governments tried to negotiate. They said, we attempted to negotiate with the agency, but did not have any other choice since the company was firm with its decision. The city of Gangneung, they also had a bus stop near Jumunjin Beach where the boy band shot their cover for You Never Walk Alone in 2017. And the city government, they put that bus stop there. It's kind of cool. It's right in front of the beach. And people would come and take their pictures there. Same story. They said that the government said that the bus stop doesn't violate any copyright law as it doesn't feature any copyrighted works of BTS, unlike the one in Samcheok. But again, it seems like they're fighting a losing battle. Interesting, right? People trying to, I mean, I get it. I get it, especially if it's the local government doing it, trying to bring more people to the area. I kind of wish the agency would say, yeah, it's cool, go ahead. You know, that could be a cool spot for international tourists to visit when they come to the country as well. But I mean, it's easy to understand. The agency or the label or the company, the management, they don't want their group's image or anything that belongs to the group being used to make any kind of money, right? It's just not fair, business-wise. All right, that's it for today's Inside Korea. We'll be back with Perfect Playlist after this. Imagine Dragons, Believer. was Imagine Dragons with Believer, and now it's time for Perfect Playlist. And our theme today, songs about the days of the week, and today it's Wednesday, so we've got a couple of Wednesday songs for you. Let's start with this one, The Guess Who, A Wednesday in Your Garden. This 1969 song is arranged beautifully with multiple instruments playing in perfect harmony. The melody is enhanced by the lead vocalist Burton Cummings' characteristic voice and passionate singing style. The song showcases a jazzier side of the Canadian folk group, and we love its groovy vibe. After that, James Morrison, The Wednesday Race. James Morrison is an Australian jazz musician. His main instrument is the trumpet. He's a composer writing jazz chart songs for various sizes or in various sizes and proficiency levels. In 1997, that's when James Morrison was appointed a member of the Order of Australia with a citation for service to music, particularly jazz, and the sponsorship of young musicians as well. He composed and performed the opening fanfare, as a matter of fact, at the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games. Let's hear a couple of songs for a Perfect Playlist today. Songs about Wednesday, The Guess Who, A Wednesday in Your Garden, and James Morrison, The Wednesday Race. That was James Morrison, The Wednesday Race, and before that, the Guess Who, A Wednesday in Your Garden. And that will do it for Steve Hatherly Reboot for this Wednesday afternoon. Thank you so much for hanging out with me over the last couple of hours. Thank you to Jimmy for today's Busan segment, All Around Busan. Thank you to you, as always, for your listenership and your participation. Thank you for your patience on my voice today as well while I fight through this cold. I've been your host, Steve Hatherly, and I'll leave you with this one today. It's Muse, Uprising. Enjoy that. Have a great day, and we'll reboot again tomorrow. We're going to get that loaded up for you. One more sec while PD Name goes and finds that in the computer system. Yeah, if you're wondering what I'm doing after the show, off to the hospital. That's my immediate plan, if you're curious about what I'm going to be doing. And then lots of sleep tonight. So hopefully I'll be in better shape tomorrow. Now, PD, we have that ready? All right. Enjoy that track and have a great day.